Let's hope it's just a gasket and not warped. I can't believe it's warped. Let's just hope it's the gasket.
It looks a bit of a mess. That's because the turbo is not connected to the downpipe and there's no manifold. Let me show you the manifold. I can't show the manifold before. I'll tell you what, I'll throw a picture up now. As you can just see, it was warped on either end. Basically I'd switched it and put a new gasket in, just thinking the gasket had gone for some random reason, hoping that just nipping it up on the studs would be alright. It wasn't. So I had it skimmed by Adept Precision Engineering. I'll show you how we got. So as you can see, darn good job. Almost mirror finish. Well impressed with that. Really top bloke. So, fresh gasket, whipper on. So I hope you're still with me, folks. Thanks for sticking with me if you have. I know I do have a few hundred real loyal followers and watchers, and I really appreciate you all, especially at times like this. I wish we could have a nice big group hug and talk about our problems. I'm Piggy and I'm addicted to breaking Peugeots. So what started out as a manifold leak, which we welded up the flange after the gaskets wouldn't seal with Tiggy, turned out that the actual manifold flange was leaking down the back. I've just shown you that we had that skimmed because the new manifold gasket didn't fix that, and as a consequence we realised it was warped. I went to fit it today and I noticed the reason perhaps why I've had a constant coolant leak is a core plug has been leaking. Where is that core plug now? It's here somewhere. There it is. So, sometimes you might get away with the core plug just dribbling. Just give it a little tap, just to reseat it. I gave a little tap and the centre fell out, which is a little strange, if I'm completely honest. And the reason that's a bit strange is the others are fine, and this one's completely rusted out. You can see in the mirror there, the one next to it is actually quite alright. So, I've now got a hole in the back of my head, and we're going to try and find ourselves a core plug from a Peugeot dealership, which is an hour away. Fun time! Right then, so radiator's back in, so that must mean the coolant's done. Since we removed the radiator, this boost pipes, took the engine mount off, which is an absolute mare of a job, to move the engine forward a couple of inches, because the alternator's about that far from the radiator, so we couldn't swing the engine forward to get access down the back. But you might be pleased to see there's now a nice core plug down there. So that's good. That's in and seated. We measured up basically the core plug and found a company, I think they're called literally Core Plugs International online or something. Now I'd ordered two, and they both delivered the next day, and I was quite impressed with their service. I need to leave them some good feedback, I think. So thanks to them for that. That's great now. So that's on. So I'm just going to get that manifold I showed you earlier and I'll whack that on. Hopefully it all seats up nicely. Got new gaskets for the turbo. Fire it all together, and let's hope we have no screaming banshees when we put our foot down anymore. That would be nice. It's running! No leaks! A bit of dirt just coming off, that's fine. No leaks, no squeal! Yay! Just the horrific noise down here from the power steering pump. So I better sort that out pretty soon. Stinks. But that needs sorting. Yay! Oh yeah, and well, if you would believe it, rocks fell on top of the roof from the roof, on top of this roof from another roof from here, just the same roof that wrote off the race tractor. Lots of dents, lots of scratches, just to add to the Lemon's wonderful little scratches along here, and dents in the glass and dents in the roof. And my spoiler broke, so fix that before we go out on a test drive, otherwise that's coming off. That's it for this episode, I believe, even though it's not really an episode. Bye! Brief update of where we're at. You've just seen a quick time lapse of it being ripped apart. The manifold has been re-skimmed, even more taken off now. As you can see, there's not much left on that flange, so this is the last attempt on that. Down the back, let's see if we can give you a visual. If you have a look in that mirror there, that lower stud there, we've put a thread insert into the head, so we drilled it out to 10 something, I think it's 9.5mm or something, put a thread insert back down to M8 times 1.25, and then we put all new threads, all new studs in. So hopefully you can just see them. So that's a new set of studs in there. These are all studs. So hopefully that will solve a few problems. You can probably just see in the background there all the grease from a CV boot that started to spit everywhere. So that'll need sorting at some point. So what we'll do is we'll whap the manifold back on now, and then I'm going to ensure that the gearbox support for the turbo is still doing what it needs to do. I've just retapped the threads on the gearbox because they felt a bit jammy. And then we'll review once that's all back together, how it looks, how it feels. And then just in the process, I'm just ensuring that we can get some OEM fitting pipes, because it's been an absolute jumble of different bits and bobs. So I'd like some OEM pipe work on there, just so that if anything breaks in the future or need a new hose because it's worn out, we can just go, I need that one, and order that one. So let's put it all back together and see where we're at.
Join me in the position I've spent most of this repair in. Now there is access from underneath, but the problem is when you're drilling and tapping, you get bits of metal everywhere, and to be honest, wearing goggles when you're trying to be really accurate with the drill, because you're drilling into your head that you've spent a lot of money and time on, goggles don't really make for much accuracy, because you can't see a thing through them often, if they're anything like my safety goggles. So a bit of padding, bit of balance, and that's pretty much how I've done it. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more to go. She's over there somewhere. There it is.
Steady. So turbo is on, manifold is on the new studs and new nuts and new gaskets. Downpipe is being cleaned up from, I'll put a link up there to the bacon edition where we cooked some bacon on it, and it was still looking a bit bacony. I've also got some OEM pipes. This needs slightly trimming and it'll be perfect. It's a top pipe of 406 thick, and this goes to the bottom now as one complete pipe, not 3, and a much better routing for the bottle, which goes up here, which at some point will be going there. So that's perfect routing, and then it will just follow along from there, so that's ideal. So just one pipe, not 3, so that's just 2 connections, well 3 including the offshoot for the expansion chamber. And then we can get rid of all this eventually, and get rid of this. This will be a later addition, getting rid of all the fuel sort of filtering and switching system all around underneath the back of the car, because it's just such a mess, you can probably see. So I'm trying to start tidy things up with less clamps and more simple hosing system and routes and stuff. We're getting there. Yeah, so we'll have to find a location for that at some point. It's a little bit neater than where it is now, and all the vac hoses. Need to find some clips. If anyone's got some nice clips they've seen, sort of to hold all these hoses kind of in line, other than cable ties, would be quite nice. Other things that I'm about to tell you about. Where's that bracket gone that I've just made? Nice to find that, wouldn't it? Some shameless merchandising showing off there. Where's it gone? Oh, there it is. So we modified, you can't really see it down there, but there is a bracket underneath the turbo holding the turbo. It kind of bolts to the flange which holds the turbo up, because there's not much else to bolt onto these turbos. There's much going on around them already, as you can see. But the downpipe going around the back, down there, obviously it comes off at an angle like that, and then goes down into the tunnel. There's no support until about halfway along down the car. Now, just for the purposes of Tiggy welding up the manifold last time, I took that off, and 1, I lost it, but 2, it wasn't very good, it was a bit flimsy. So we've just mocked up with some cardboard and made another one. That's what it looks like. You see it's much thicker steel, some bend in that, and put a little slot, and we've put a stud on the manifold, so it's nice and easy fitment to get under there. So I'll just show you this in place in about 2 seconds time.
And from underneath there we have it blazed. You can't really see it from above, but there it is. So the left hand coppery nut there is on the drop pipe,
and as it swings to the right, it fits onto the gearbox. So that's it all back together again. All fluids in, not piddling anywhere. A couple of leaks I think we've actually fixed in this process, which is quite nice, because we were losing a tiny bit of coolant, but we were a couple of leaks down. Still some major tidying issues going on. I think, so the coolant reservoir, power steering reservoir, going to change that, tidy the wiring up here. I'm going to make a bracket for the ECU and the relays all to sit in there somewhere. And you'll also notice there's a little bit tidy here, there's less going on here. We've got a shorter, tiny little vacuum actuated controller here, and basically we've got rid of all this, which is just too many linkages and joints that were moving and sticking and stuff. So simple, one joint. Still not perfect. It's far superior to what we had before, which was, you know, it was just moving a little bit, and that tiny bit of movement on cruise or on throttle just makes a huge difference. So we got rid of that. So it's a little bit tidier there. It just clears the bonnet.